Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Meat Cat Body by Jeremy Jones.
Good afternoon, it's Lions Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B. And we got Ricky Sakat in the chat already. Don't forget to put the likes out there, whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. It helps with the algorithm to boost the show, to get it up there faster for people. But that being said, the main topic of the day, I went over the linebacker rooms yesterday. Today, I'm going to have to go over the secondaries. And there's quite a few decent ones, actually, and some of them are better than we thought on teams that didn't even make the playoffs in the NFC. Because two of the ones in the top 10, as much as we hate it, is the Vikings and the Bears. They both had very good secondaries last year, mostly because they had a very good pass rush. And we all know what ours was last year, but that moves us up too, because the top one, it still has to be Philly. Look at what they added this year. I still say that's the number one secondary in the NFC right now. Number two, I'm going to have to give the nod to San Francisco because Dallas lost a few things, so I moved them down a couple pegs. But at three, I almost want to put the Bears at three. People can knock them all they want and talk their crap, but in all honesty, they didn't have a bad secondary last year. They had a very good secondary because of that pass rush, especially late in the season. Yeah, remember, they're responsible for 5 picks of Goff. So, yeah, I think that secondary is probably the third best in the NFC, and I'm not knocking ours. Ours is much improved. Top 5D end of the season, yes. And they added to it this year. So I think it's a better secondary than anybody wants to give them credit for. Behind those top ones, now you got to add Dallas in there. Even though they lost Stephon Gilmore, they added somebody in the offseason via the draft, but they had very good, or they didn't lose the core guy. They had to add a nickel guy because Deron Bland was playing more outside than Stephen Gilmore was. So you got Diggs, you got Bland, you got their two safeties who was doing very well. And Sweat was a huge addition to the Chicago defense, and they signed him, and he's going to be there a while, which means he's going to be a thorn in our side. Defensively, they're a bigger thorn. Oh my goodness. After Dallas, that's where I'm gonna put the Vikes in, and then I'm gonna add in Detroit, and then Atlanta. Atlanta. That may seem overzealous, but if you look at the fact that we got 2 of the top 5 run defenders at defensive tackle, Marcus Davenport, they're banking on him staying healthy, plus the other additions around him, we got better by subtraction. We lost Benito Jones, Romeo, and Julian Aquara, who did absolutely nothing. We lost Charles Harris. He did absolutely nothing. We kept the guys who all made plays and added to it. That is how they ranked us at 4, and the potential of the rookies that we've added as well. And the fact that they actually see that Broderick Martin has improved and played most of his snaps, all OTA at the defensive tackle 2 in the 1 position with the first string is undone because Reeder wasn't there. He's still rehabbing. And then after the Lions, you got the Commanders, who didn't really lose anybody out of their secondary, and their secondary was very good last year. Then it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who did lose, but they're still a good defensive unit overall, especially in the secondary. He's not guaranteed to miss anything. He's supposed to be back by the beginning of camp as undone, so that that mentality is off. And to round it out, Jair Alexander. Washington is a dark horse for me. I think they're going to be very much improved, but it really depends on a rookie QB, and I don't depend on that. They need their O line to be much better for that rookie QB to be very good. The PFF gave the Lions the number one rated defensive interior room. Hatter's house, good to see you, my man. It's been a minute. Good morning. It must be 9:08 there. Oh, but that being said, there is nothing out there. Nothing. So that's why I've been doing this is just to fill some time, and it only takes me about 10 minutes to go through the list, and it's killing me. So I also depend on my fans because I like interacting with them. Will Vogel in the chat. Hello, sir. Good to see you, my friend. Matt Henry, good morning, JB. You missed it. I gave my kudos to the Chicago Bears secondary already. I have high hopes for our defense this year too, but it also is going to depend on AG doing better at second half adjustments or not adjusting when there's no adjustments needed to be made. And that's the same for Ben Johnson, really. We keep trying to change things up so much at the half, it throws off the momentum of everything we built in the first half on both sides of the ball. Yes, sir. I admit it. I admit it 100%. I don't want Robert Salah near this team. You're absolutely right, Matt Henry. And I have a little bit of fair warning. Um, do you think that the Chicago Bears have better weapons than the Seattle Seahawks overall? I think we're no, I don't like Salah. I don't want him anywhere near this team. I think Holmes has done roster building. I don't see a trade or anything unless we're making a push at the deadline, and that'll be because someone got injured. Because I think Holmes loves the way this roster is constructed right now. But do you honestly think that the weapons in Seattle are worse than the weapons in Chicago right now? I don't want either one of them is undone. Right. The reason why I'm asking this is because Shane Waldron was the OC for the Seahawks last year. Geno regressed from the year before. I think it's on par. I think I personally think DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are both better than DJ Moore, but that's me. I do hate both Ayuk and Debo. Orlando. Debo is mad because people are getting paid more than him now, and Ayuk wants to be paid as much or more than St. Brown. So yes, I hate both of them. If we didn't have a player like St. Brown, I'd take either one. Uh, that isn't the only safety depth. You're forgetting somebody is undone. Ayuk wants a contract now. That's why he wants out. They don't want to give him a contract. Orlando, you're missing the point. He wants a pay raise this year. I don't know why people don't actually read the entire articles about why people want to leave somewhere. No, I'm not letting McNeil walk. Decker already walks next year, and he's probably retiring. I think our wide receiver room is just fine. I don't know why everybody is so worried about wide receivers and safeties. Brian Branch is our strong safety. Kirby Joseph is our free safety. Ifeatumafonwu is backing up Brian Branch, and Brendan Joseph has been playing well. He's been playing the entire time while Kirby Joseph hasn't been on the field yet. Considering he's going to be 32, 33 years old and he's had a plethora of injuries, this is his last hurrah. Gino had a great year the year before, and the reason why was Dave Canales was the QB coach. Shane Waldron is not a QB whisperer. It was Dave Canales that was the QB whisperer that got the best season out of Gino. That's my point. Shane Waldron stayed, Canales leaves, Gino regresses, and the Seahawks struggled. Gino always looks good against an AG defense. Uh, Gino looks good when he has all day to throw. We have cap space, picks, and young talent. We can do just about whatever the hell we want. Yeah. We don't want to take it up this year because we have almost none next year. Everybody forgets that it's 10 to 18 million for your draft picks to be signed. We only have 34 million next year. So if you're able to roll over 34 million next year, you have double that. Then you can afford to sign people. And we have some big re-signings coming up. Matt Henry doesn't matter. He was great that year with the Seahawks 2 years ago. He had a great season, enough that they paid him. Just ask the Seahawks. And Dave Canales leaves. Oh my God, no. So you want to cost the team 10 million in dead cap for JMO? Gotcha. I think this team's built for a Super Bowl this year, Orlando, and it's you two that are saying we're not. I'm glad Brad Holmes thinks about the future of the team and not just the current year. And I got to adjust that because we are currently at 456 subscribers. So we keep going up every day. It's great. I don't see the need. When does St. Brown go down? He misses what? One, maybe two games a year at most, on the way to 1,000. As soon as we get to 500, we are going to be doing a giveaway. That is the push. I I don't understand this mentality. Um, the only thing that kept us away from the Super Bowl was the defense. And as long as AG is the defensive coordinator and refuses to spy on defense, we'll never handle a running quarterback, Orlando. Never. Mark my words. That's awesome, man, Henry. I understand. Every year, the talent has gotten better on this team, and the passing defense has barely improved. Yes, it's been done on 8 different occasions in the NFL, and it worked every time because they were able to re-sign players they would not have been able to re-sign if they used up all their cap. And I'm all about that. I'm all about a team above one player getting a bag. You can bitch about the golf contract, but he saved us money this year and only makes us. Oh, the New York Giants have done it twice. The Packers did it once when they had Brett Favre. They did it again with Aaron Rodgers. Um, the year they made the Super Bowl, which was his year too. We didn't lose Sosna. Or Sosna, he wasn't the cap manager. It's Disner. We are coming to the end of Pride Month. Are the Lions fans going to be okay? I don't know. I got two of them in here that are acting like it's the end of the world. Um, did Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers win the Super Bowl in 2010? Yes. Did New York Giants win the Super Bowl? Yes. Both times they did it was the year they won the Super Bowl. Dallas Cowboys did it once. I'm trying to remember what year it was, and I think it was a super. It was the year that they went from. No, they haven't won a Super Bowl since that. Never mind. So let's go further back. Anyways, a lot of the teams have Jared Goff regression. Man, I don't understand the negativity. Every year I've heard Jared Goff is going to regress, and he got a little better each year because the talent around him got better. This team is better overall. We got rid of people who did not want to show grit, and we added pieces, and we're deeper than we were. I don't know, man, Henry. Maybe these fans are not going to be okay. I haven't seen this much negativity this close to a season after a NFC championship game for any team ever. No, the '04 Pistons, I don't know. No. Basketball's a different animal, and we're not ran by Joe Dumars. I don't know if Carolina gets there. The Saints might be in the bottom 5, and I don't think the Chargers will be there either. But the problem is most of this team is drafted at this point. So you can't say they're cast-offs. DPJ is a cast-off. Khalif Raymond is a cast-off. Brock Wright is our UDFA. Shane Zylstra is our UDFA. Um, James Houston drafted. Ra was the 17th wide receiver off the board. He's not a cast-off though. We drafted him, and if not for him being sick the day before the combine, and what was the other thing? Oh yeah, the sexual allegations that came out just before the draft. He probably would have been second round and the fifth or sixth best wide receiver overall. Yeah, he memorized the list. You ask him right now, he could rattle off all 16 names, the kid, the pick, and where they went to school. Remember, the Giants took Kadarius Toney instead of St. Brown. At fourth, third or fourth. He's being his average draft spot now is in the ninth to the 12th spot. Good afternoon, Yoli. I am so glad you're out of the hospital and feeling better. It's glad to have you out. It's glad to have everything back on on Facebook and YouTube where it needed to be instead of all over the place just trying to get views. I'm tired of every month that Facebook changes their uh, their stuff. Right. There's only 3 teams that had coaching continuity throughout the NFL last season. 2 of them were in the playoffs. The Lions and the Texans. Can't say the Ravens. They lost their defensive coordinator to be the head coach of Seattle. Can't say the Bears. They lost their OC because they fired him. Didn't they get rid of an offensive? I think the other one's the Vikings. Ralph Williams, RW Media. Hello, Jeremy. And we all know that the Steelers got rid of Matt Canada, and I don't know why they didn't do it sooner. I think he stole the Tecmo Bowl playbook from Matt Nagy. See, and this is why I don't think there's going to be any step back on offense. Every year, our offense has gotten better. So I think it's going to get better again. Matt Canada's a bum. Yes, yes. We all know that. How did Jack Campbell have 95 tackles last year? I can barely remember that because I told you that he was doing better every game, and you said no, he wasn't. He wasn't even on the field, and he was. He was the starter the last 7 games of the season, while Derek Barnes is a backup. Right, and they're saying that he looks like he's ready to be the leader they wanted him to be. Everything I've heard out of camp, they are talking about how much better Jack Campbell is this year than last year. Last year, he was a young guy learning a new scheme in the speed of the NFL while learning a new playbook and being played out of position for over half a season. I tried telling you he wasn't as bad as you thought he was. Every time I try to tell people something, it's because I knew that he wasn't as bad as everybody said they were. Everybody was mad when they drafted Gibbs in the first round. Everybody was mad when they drafted Jack Campbell in the first round. I heard even the draft pundits, the experts, after the draft was over, if you'd reversed the picks, the Lions pick from Hendon Hooker to Jameer Gibbs and put it the other way around, nobody would have complained. And I love what Holmes said in that presser right after the draft. Positional value. I draft football players. I don't draft by positional value. And that's why I trust Brad Holmes and what he's done. And as much as I hate to say it, and you guys disagree, but I know it's right, Seattle wouldn't have had one more touchdown if CJGJ doesn't double tackle K9 on that third down stop. If he'd have just played football and walked the fuck away and maybe jaw jacked a little bit, we'd have been fine. CJGJ was the worst signing. Why is Justin Rogers leaving Detroit News? That I don't know. I don't know him personally. I should apply to that role now that it's open. Maybe I will. I'll submit my writings. That would probably instantly get me a seat at home games. I'm going on my third season of writing. Maybe I will. I just I think that the window of wins is 11 to 14. 14 if everything goes right. I don't see 15 and 2. I see at least 3 that we're probably losing. Ranning Q 14 and 3 is my pick. I see us losing 4 at least. I know you'd ask better questions post game than Carlos. Yeah, because Carlos asks questions like a hater. um, Carlos Monarez, that's who you're talking about, right? The one that Brad Holmes checked receipts on. I think 12 and 5, 13 and 4 is where we end up. I don't see us going backwards. So, like I said, Philly, San Francisco, Chicago, Dallas, Vikings, Lions, Falcons. The Rams secondary wasn't that good last year, and that's why I didn't put them up there. Seahawks are. Yeah, I think the secondaries, 3 of the best ones are right here in the NFC North, And I threw the Packers in at 10 because they actually weren't that bad, but they weren't that good. And they remain the same, but at the same time, will they have the same success with the new defensive coordinator and a new scheme? We don't know. Good to see you, Ranning Q. It's been a minute. And the NBA draft was last night, and so far, I'm not impressed with our new guy, Ron Holland. Granted, he's better defensively as an on accident than probably everybody on the roster. But Ron Holland at 5? I said fire him. Glad to see they're letting the Twitter comments come through. This is great. I just can't reply to them by texting. But it's good to see you there, Ranning Q. Looking forward to seeing some content from you soon. I know you'll post it in my group. I think this is the year where we finally have back to back double digit seasons. We've never had that since 1957. Hey, guys, I'm done. Have to head out now. Have a great day, and thanks for keeping me sane during the off season. I try, but you know what? As bad as we were, and we're better this year defensively on accident than last year, and we made it to the NFC Championship game, and everybody is acting like the wheels are falling off, and I don't get it. I don't get that mentality. I personally wish they just started Broderick Martin the rest of the season instead of Benito Jones because I think he'd have did better on accident. People calling him a bust because he had one bad play where he got rolled up by a good offensive guard. Shit happens. I saw 10 plays where he did exactly and as he should and better than I expected him to do. Tackles aren't the only thing that defensive tackles do. I saw him tied up at the line every time. I said, "Yeah, it's called taking on a double team." The guy that has to ball out to make this roster is Levi Amuzariki. The other guy that has to ball out, and it's on offense, it's James Mitchell. Right now, I have him as the odd man out. Right now, I got Sion Vaki taking the running back 3 position from Craig Reynolds, from what I've heard in camp. But we haven't seen 11 on 11s. We haven't seen him put on pads, and we haven't seen full contact yet. At least not intentionally. Sort of, kind of, not really. Yeah, I'm going to say it again. I think Matthew Betts ends up by being our first down starter. Watching his game film, the guy just has a nose to be around the football and a game wrecker. I can't wait to see what happens. I got it at 55 to 60% chance that happens. Because Dan Campbell has said, I don't care how much you're paid. If you're not the guy, you're not the guy. How crazy is it that there's a chance that there might not be a spot for James Houston if he's not fully healthy by camp? That's that's the thing nobody's thought about. What if there's no spot for James Houston? What if he never passes that physical and can't play again this year? That makes that job a lot easier. I know who I'm keeping in his place already because that's the backup for Hutch, and it's Kaminsky. Everybody forgets that that's why his numbers dip. He had to play opposite everybody else that wasn't doing anything to help Hutchinson. Call it like I see it. Everybody's like, "Oh, look, Hutchinson waits to the end of the season to start getting sacks again because there was finally somebody doing something on the opposite side of the ball." Just unfortunately, it was a safety name, Ifietu Melifamu. It wasn't because all of a sudden Benito Jones started playing good. 6 impactful plays for 602 snaps. That's less than 10%. That's not good enough. That was Benito Jones' snap count and how many plays he made an impactful play. So what other questions you got? Because I'll talk about any team if you got a question. I don't care who you guys follow. I love talking football. I'm just happy to be here. Boy, it's just so weird how that looks there in Wisconsin, that NFL ownership. Oh boy. So, who wants to talk a little football? Boy, the chat's gone quieter than a church. This undone leaves. Y'all quit talking. Man, oh man. Hello, is there anybody else? Hello. Is there anybody out there? Man, Orlando, did you get any of these yesterday? In case anybody didn't know it that wasn't watching yesterday, it was Orlando Escorbano Jr.'s birthday yesterday. Again, happy birthday, my friend. Hmm. Maybe I have to look up an obscure stat for you. No. Did you know that not only is Eric Kramer the passing yard leader for as a QB for the Bears, he also is the leading touchdown passer that they've ever had that same year. And that was 29 touchdowns. 29 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Wow. That's their best quarterback statistically in Bears history. He put up better numbers than Jim McMahon and Sexy Rexy and Jay, Gut- Jay Cutler, or as I like to call him, the Gay Butler. Well, it's going to be that time of day where I start talking about my sponsors, and we all have our favorite sponsor. They don't even pay me a dime, but I love doing it. It's FTP. Fornicate the Packers. Put it in the chat. Or the bride. There's just a lot of questions with every team in the North, including the Lions. On paper, we look like we're very much improved. We look like one of the best teams overall in the NFL. Enough that 3 or 4 different publications have said it's the 4th best constructed roster in the NFL. And it's mostly due to the offense and that offensive line. Make no bones about it. The Lions have the best rated O-line in the league right now. Who'd have thought you'd lose a top 15 guard and get a top 10 one back? Pretty telling about the job that Brad Holmes did constructing the roster this year. Everybody, all the we have the 4th best odds in Vegas to get to the Super Bowl. We have the best odds to win the division again. It when professionals start noticing stuff like that, it's time for the fans to take notice and accept it. Are there question marks? Of course there are. Namely the 3rd quarter. That's my biggest question mark on the whole team. Will coaching finally get the 3rd quarter right on both sides of the ball? I've called it out on both sides the entire time because a bad offense doesn't make it easy on a good defense. And a bad defense definitely doesn't make it easy on a good offense. But when they both play bad in the same quarter, it's bad for the team. That has to get fixed. And I'm going to say right now, that 3rd quarter is the only reason why I was even curious on who would be the OC if Ben Johnson left. It's been an amazing day. Talk about my sponsor right here. Oh, come on. Brandon Service. Used tires, quality at a price. From right here in Flint, Michigan, where the tires are great, but the water's shit. At the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road, 602 West Atherton Road in Flint, Michigan. Used tires starting at $40 a piece. New tires, call and get your quote 810-233-8230. Talk to George Red or myself, Smoking Jeremy B, or just call me Jeremy at that point, because that's what they all know me by there. It has been such an amazing off season to talk football with you fans, left and right. I've loved it. It makes it makes my day go good. Makes my heart well. Do I get frustrated sometimes at the same old questions and the same old lion statements? Of course, who doesn't? Mm, trying to get this thing come off. Would I put Swift in the Walter Payton category? No, absolutely not. I wouldn't even put Swift in the Amir Abdullah category. I'd put him in the Carry On Johnson category. Somewhere between injured and bum. But I will say you had the comment of the night last night when you said you wish Brad Holmes would do the drafting for the Pistons. I agree 100% because he'd scout better. And Baltimore just got better. They signed the 18-year-old pitching prospect that defected from Cuba today. And the rich get richer. Ain't that great? Oh, God, no. Not again. Not again. Please, God. Not that. Anything but that. Well, it's been my pleasure talking to you today. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Watch on Huddle. If you are on the Huddle Sports Network watching on your TV, be ready for the next show. But have a great day, everybody.
Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.